I'm Vienna, and my mom and I have been to 20 countries on school breaks. And she was a single mom the whole time. I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying it because when I tell people, the first thing they always say is, okay, but your mom must make really good money. And she doesn't. She never did. She just learned how to think about money in a way that most people never get taught. And then she taught me. So I'm 14, I've been to 5 continents, and I have a world map on my wall with 20 pins in it. And this channel, Wandering Vienna, exists because I genuinely believe most people are just one or two decisions away from a completely different kind of life. Not a rich life, just a more intentional one. Today, I want to share exactly what I watched my mom do for nearly a decade, how she handled money, cut our world travel costs by 50% or more, built a real $25,000 emergency fund, and started investing 10% of her income to start with, but then a few years later went to 25%, all at the same time. It's not complicated. Nobody ever just sits down and explains it clearly, so that's what we're gonna do right now. So, I thought it'd be fun to make up two characters to explain this in a quirky kind of way. Their names are Ordinary Oscar and Savvy Stella. And the most important thing to know, they make the exact same amount of money. Same paycheck, same bills, same everything. I really want to make that clear because it's kind of the whole point. Oscar is genuinely a good person. He works hard. He loves his family. And he's been waiting to take them to Italy for spring break for 5 years. Every year he brings it up. Every year something comes up. It feels like too much. He closes the laptop and says, okay, maybe next year. The thing about next year is it kind of never shows up. It's always just a little further away. Oscar isn't lazy, he's just waiting for some big moment where money suddenly stops being a problem. A bonus, a raise, some windfall. And while he's waiting, nothing is happening. Stella has the exact same paycheck, but Stella just got back from Lisbon, Portugal. The reason isn't that she's luckier. She follows something my mom and I call FATE, financial awareness, travel early. She learned 3 simple ingredients. Spend less than you make, which some people call living below your means. Create a gap between what comes in and what goes out, and then put that difference somewhere and let it do the work. That's genuinely it. No tricks, no shortcuts, no secret income. My mom did those 3 things consistently for almost 10 years, and we went to 20 countries on my school breaks. Not summers, school breaks. Fall break, winter break, and spring break. 20 countries on regular income. The difference between Oscar and Stella isn't their paycheck, it's the holes. My mom started saying this to me when I was about 10. She'd say most people don't have a not enough money problem, they have a leaky pocket problem. I remember thinking, that's kind of a weird way to say it, but the more I watched her, the more I understood exactly what she meant. Oscar spends based on convenience. He's hungry, he goes to whatever store is closest. He needs shoes, he buys them full price right now because he needs them this week. When he pays his bills, the money just leaves. There's no real thought behind it. The money just goes, and honestly, he's a little confused every month about where it all went. Stella uses what my mom called the when, where, and how framework. When is timing. Stella doesn't buy meat unless it's marked down 50% or more. Then she stocks up. She buys clothes at the end of season clearance sales instead of full priced at the start. She's not in a rush about stuff like that. She has patience and she actually uses it. I'd say it's like a gold mine. The where is intent. She doesn't drift to whatever store is closest out of habit. She knows which stores are worth it for different things. She shops with an intentional plan. The how is the most important one. Stella uses a cashback credit card for everything she was already going to buy. groceries, gas, her electric bill, all of it. At the end of the year, she gets back a nice check. My mom's check the last 3 years has been between $800 and $1,000. Now, I have to be clear about this because it really matters. My mom only does this because she pays the full balance off every single month. She has never once paid interest. If you're carrying a balance on a credit card, it's not a tool. It's a trap, and the interest will eat you alive. But when you pay it off, that cash back is a return on money you had to spend anyway. It's a reward for being intentional. When you do all that, the when, the where, the how, you end up with something left over every month. My mom calls that the margin. The margin is what makes everything else possible. Okay, so spring break, 3 weeks away. Oscar goes online and types flights to Italy. He sees 1,400 per person. He does the math and kind of feels sick about it and closes the laptop. He tells his kids, not this year. And I feel bad for him because he really wanted to go to Italy. The problem is he started with the destination. He already decided where he wanted to go before he looked at anything else. And when the price didn't match what he could spend, it was just over. Stella does it backwards. She uses what I call the wander window. Her dates are fixed. Spring break is spring break. You've got your breaks built into the year. Fall, winter, spring, and summer, if it lines up. Those windows exist, and everyone has them. That part isn't flexible. But the destination, that's totally flexible. So instead of locking in on Paris, Stella has her wander window, a list of 10 places she's been curious about and has been quietly watching flights for 15 minutes a week for months. Not obsessively, just aware. Her flight radar is on. And while Oscar was staring at 1,400 flights, feeling defeated, Stella found a $450 round trip to Lisbon, Portugal, which was already on her list. She booked it immediately and saved more than half just by staying open. Here's what I really want you to get. That savings on the flights, that is the trip budget. Me and my mom didn't have some special separate savings account for travel that we've been filling up for years. The money we save from when, where, and how in everyday life, plus the wander window list and flight radar on flights, that's literally what pays for the Airbnbs, the day trips, the food, all of it. The savings from being smart about ordinary spending and flexible on the destination is what funds the travel. It's a never-ending loop. Oscar thinks Stella just got lucky. I get why it looks that way from the outside. You only ever see the trip. You don't see the foundation underneath. My mom had a framework for building that foundation. I call it Build Wise. It's basically just the right order of steps. B. Baseline awareness. Know exactly where your money goes. Not roughly, actually. Oscar guesses. Stella tracks. That money gap matters more than what most people think. U. Urgent emergency fund. My mom started with just $1,000 before she did anything else and built it up to $25,000 over time. When something goes wrong, and something always does, it's an inconvenience, not a disaster. One bad month doesn't undo everything. I. Insure the big risks. Health, car, protect the foundation before you build on it. L. Limit high interest debt. No buy now, pay later. No carrying balances on credit cards. Stella doesn't pay 20-something% interest to have something a few weeks earlier than she could afford it. D. Direct your paycheck. Stella started by automatically having her employer direct 10% of her income before she ever sought into investments, and that grew to 25% over time. It's not willpower, it's a system. The money moves before her brain can spend it. W. Work the wander window. Make a list of 10 countries you want to visit. I. Invest simply and early. I'm 14 and I've already started investing $50 a month into an S&P 500 index fund. Not travel money. This fund is for the future me. It's not a lot, but it's going, and the earlier you start, the more time it has to do the work. S. Stay the course. The technical name is dollar cost averaging. Keep buying consistently instead of panicking when the market dips. Stella doesn't freak out. She just keeps investing. That's the whole strategy. E. Experience life early. Like now. This is the step most financial advice completely leaves out. They suggest traveling when you retire, and I see the problem as your life just passed you while waiting until later in life to enjoy traveling. You've probably heard of FIRE, financially independence, retire early. Save everything, sacrifice everything now, and then start really living decades later. My mom and I kind of disagree with that. A lot. Our lives have proven there's a much better way. We believe in fate. Financial awareness, travel early. Why wait until you're 40 or 65 to go see the things you actually want to see? My mom invested 25% of her income every year, and we still went to 20 countries. You don't have to choose between your future and your life right now. You just have to be intentional with your time and money at the same time. I know I'm 14, and some of you have real bills and real responsibilities. That's fair. But I watched my mom do this for 10 years right in front of me. I watched her build from a $1,000 emergency fund all the way to $25,000. I watched her invest 25% of her income and still book flights that cost less than most people spend on their iPhone. It worked, not because of magic, but because she had a system and she stuck to it. So, what I really want you to take from this is simple. It's not about having more money. Oscar and Stella have the same income. It's about what you decide to do with what you already have. You already have spring break. The window is right there. The dates are fixed and everyone has them. The only thing that's flexible is where you go. And if you stay open on that, a lot more becomes possible than you'd think. I'm already planning a solo trip across Europe after I graduate high school. Not because I'm some kind of exception, just because my mom showed me how to think about the stuff, and once you see it, you really can't unsee it. She always says money isn't a bucket you fill up. It's a river, and if you don't have a plan for where it goes, it disappears into the ground, no matter how much there is. She didn't find a big river in the beginning, she just learned how to direct it, and that changed everything for us. If this helped you even a little, feel free to tell your friends. Hit the like and subscribe button and join the journey. We're building a more beautiful future, one smart step at a time. Here on my channel, Wandering Vienna, I'm going to keep making videos about travel and money and share what I watched my mom do for years as a single mom who had a dream. I figure if we're not going to learn this stuff in school, I guess you might say that I volunteered to do my part and share it with others. Fate, financial awareness, travel early isn't really a plan. It's a decision you make. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comment below. And thanks for wandering with me today. And make sure to come back to Wandering Vienna because there's always more to explore. Bye!